Hey guys, how's it going? It's Kyle here today, and today I have for you real cards with a salad deck profile. So let's get into it. So starting off with a new format, we got our 2 circles back, which is pretty cool. Helps the consistency a lot, not too much. Losing the Pot of Desires was a little bit hard taking, but didn't really make much difference with added of that. But with that, with the draw power, we are dropping down to 2 Lady Debug. Lady Debug's still really important because it's your 1 card access code in the deck. If you can pull, if you don't have anything banished or used already. But the search isn't as important now because with our 3 copies of Flame Buffalo, it's much better to get to the powerhouse cards we need from its draw effect since we lost our main card, Pot of Desires. Although in benefit, though, we do not have to build around Pot of Desires, which iffy ways kind of thing. Now, I chose to play 5 starters. You could probably get away with just 1 Lady Debug or 2 and 2, but I felt that this made more sense. Because you don't really want to start off with Foxy because it's not guaranteed, and with the amount of salad cards you run in the deck versus other cards, it's not really worth it either. But that's it for the main starters. Next we have our copy of Gazelle. Gazelle is the best card in the deck, hands down, and that is just due to the fact that it's Gazelle. Basically, it just summons itself from the hand and then sends to the graveyard, which is great. Now a card that not a lot of people play, but Foxer. I never played Foxer while the Mirage Stalio was banned. But now that it's unbanned, I feel like Foxer's cool to combo off with your Foxy, because Foxy's graveyard effect can destroy a spell or trap your opponent controls, and then Foxer will special summon itself on the destruction of a spell or trap from the graveyard. And then right there is your Xyz 3. Next we have 3 Spinny. Basically just discards to add 500 and then specials from graveyard, but banishes 1 leaves field if you control a solid link monster. 500 attack boost doesn't come up often, but it can. It's just a really free summon. Cool thing with this is if you Xyz with this card, like with a Foxy or something, into Mirage Stalio, when Spinny is detached from it or sent to the graveyard as material, it will not be banished. So cool fact. Next for your level 4s, since I played the Foxer, and I don't play Pot of Desires, I only go with 1 Jack Jaguar, probably the most important card in your deck besides Gazelle, because it just shuffles your resources, and then 1 Falco just to add back spell and traps if you need, or to add cards to your hand. For the last of the monsters, it's just an extender of 3 Parallel Exceed. It's just kind of nice to have it in here. Sometimes it bricks, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you don't see it. It doesn't really matter. It's just super helpful if you get it. So I couldn't find myself not playing it, especially when we already have so much room for a open deck, if you know what I mean. Since we don't have a lot of Desires, we can not have to build around it. As for the draw cards, we play 1 Upstart Goblin and then the 1 Pot of Avarice, since we don't have the 3 copies of Desires anymore. Now technically you could probably get away with Prosperity. Probably not, but you could run more Avarice. You could probably run 1 Desires too if you want, but I just don't like building around Desires if we only have 11% chance of getting it. So these are 2 draw cards. Always makes deck 39. Pot of Avarice just kind of shuffles your link monsters and hand traps back into the deck. For salad cards, of course, the 1 spell, or field spell, because it's searchable off Banelinks, and you always summon Banelinks no matter what, really. And is re-addable from graveyard off of your Sunlight Wolf, so it's not needed at more than 2. Next, 2 Will. This is mainly just because the special summon effect is so important if you can draw a brick hand, and it kind of helps. So you can either special summon 1 or destroy it. If you control Link 3 to summon with its own name, for Elio, you can special 3 monsters, both once per turn. 2 Salamangreat Circle. Basically adds a salad monster or target gives protection to 1. And I do still play 3 Sided Mining just because it's so important to send or get your cards. And cool fact is, if you send a Foxy off this and you search your Gazelle, after resolution of this, Gazelle will still go off, which is pretty cool. And then we'll go ahead and throw the one Rage and one Roar in here too. Don't really need more than one of each copy of the card. It's just, I like having one of each more so. It gets too bricky as more than one because if you don't have the Link monster, they don't do anything. Especially with Rage, because you want at least your Sunlight Wolf on field for this to be useful. So it's just a little bit too situational for my taste is the main problem I have with it. But it's really up to you. So I just put more room for hand traps. So for hand traps or disruptions, one called by the grave just to protect play is super relevant now. I still don't understand why it's at 1. I guess it's nice. I still think it should be at 2 or 3, really. Next, 2 Cosmic Cyclones, just because Foxer will summon itself. Well, no, it actually won't, but still, it's really... Some decks you just need to get rid of cards. 2 Ash. You probably want to bump this up to 3 if you have it, but since it's searchable or addable back off of Sunlight Wolf. But it's once per turn, so I find 2 is just fine. 2 Ghost Spell. I like Ghost Spell, especially with graveyard decks being prevalent, like Brave Tokens and Phantom Knights. And then 3 Impermanence. This and Ash are probably the best hand traps currently. Now, of course, these 9 spots or so, 10 spots, are completely up to your choose. Actually, let's see, 3, 5, 7, yeah, 10 spots. These 10 spots are completely up to what you want to play. This is just what I chose to play. So, that's the cool thing about Yu-Gi-Oh! For the most part, except for the Ash, like, none of this has synergy with the deck, so it's really up to you and what you want to do. For links, extra deck, really standard lineup, 3 Banelings. Link 1 searches your field spell and banishes itself from grave to avoid destruction. Next, 3 Sunlight Wolf. Sunlight Wolf searches on a special from... you can... if Fire Monster is special summoned, you can add a Fire Monster from your graveyard to hand. Once per turn, if this was Link summoned using monster same name, you can add a Salad spell from your graveyard to hand. Next, 2 Heatleo. Mainly just on Link Summon Shuffle into deck. And I do play 1 Pyro Phoenix. Just comes up sometimes, and I don't know, I kind of like it. I want to try and fit in 2, couldn't really find it. For the other links, 1 Update Jammer. Yeah, so the 1 Update Jammer for the OTK. This is Splash Mage, just trust me. If you don't have, it's just Splash Mage. It's SPLASH space Mage, MAGE. Basically just summons a Cybers monster from the graveyard, and then that can go into your Link 3. Push your Transcode Talker, and then you resummon it, and then go into your Access Code Talker. And because of Splash Mage, I'll get into it real quick. If you normal summon Lady Debug, search your Gazelle, and then link into Balinks. And then use Balinks as effect, search it, and then relink into Balinks or whatever. And then you can go into there. Or actually, no, you can just normal, and then normal search your Spinny, the Lady Debug link, and especially your link into your Balinks, search your field spell. Then you're going to want to go ahead and special your Balinks, and then, here actually I'll show you. So yeah, normal Lady Debug, search Spinny, normal Debug, search Spinny. Spinny will go ahead, keep in your hand, link into your Balinks, add your field spell, use Spinny effect pitch, link to Splash Mage, and then resummon your Spinny or Debug. So it's kind of nice just having that 1 card combo in there. Those are really good in Yu-Gi-Oh! Obviously. Now for Link monsters, or Xyz monsters, sorry, that's it. That's just like a little access code package that doesn't involve Celine. 1 Murad Stalio, just because it's relevant if you can get into it. And a Vistellar, because it's just like the worst thing to go against. You can probably take out the Pyro Phoenix in front of number 41 if you want, but I don't know. I like playing 1 of it. That's just me. I'm weird though, so don't listen to me if you don't want to. I'm probably wrong anyways. But yeah, so that's it for the deck profile, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and have a good day. Let me know how Salad works for you if you have any different build ideas. I find that this deck is good, but it just sometimes is hard to get power cards. One thing that I do like about it, though, is it can usually always bounce back. So, it's really up to you and how you play. Have a great day, guys, and goodbye.